Green hair. Um, this feels like have some fun in your expression. Um, yeah, you might literally want to dye your hair green or have green hair, but for the most part, this feels like why so serious? Like, don't everything doesn't have to be so serious. It feels like, as an energy, it feels like someone's had black hair their whole life, and now they're just like, you know what? Like, why? No, my hair doesn't have to just be black because it's black. Like, I can just I'm gonna go dye it green. It's like the green. It's like yeah, green. It's like it feels like such a drastic difference from the normal or from their regular, and that just feels like the energy with the cards right now. And it's like hell yeah, go dye your hair green. Like what is that thing that you're like, you know what? I've been doing things like this whole time, and it's like there's nothing actually making me do it like this. You know, that might just be the way you create your content, or you might only create a certain type of content because you feel like I know a lot of the guidance is like, oh, pick one thing. You want to pick one thing and do it a lot. You don't want to be too scattered. You know all that stuff, and it's like we're multidimensional. The reality of the human experience is that we're not just one thing. No one's naturally just one thing. And for anybody to operate as just one thing or to continue to express themselves as just one thing, that will come with resistance after a while because that's not really you, you know? Or you're gonna feel like you're not showing up completely authentically in the space because it's like, you know, this is just one part of me. Like I'm all these things. And it's like, or now you're sitting there trying to keep them all separate, or you have a page for this, a page for that, and then you have your personal page, which is just different from, you know, and it starts to feel like you're living, operating in too many different worlds, or like you're only existing in fragmented in different places, and it's like you don't have to operate like that. You can operate however it feels right to you, and you can be your multidimensional self in every space you curate for yourself if that's what you choose to do. Um, and at a level, people are going to resonate with that because that's all of our experiences. You know, none of us are just one thing. So I feel like, yeah. So whatever this is, understand that. Hell yeah, do something. Go switch it up and enjoy the process of that, and allow it to be ugly. Allow it to be whatever it might be because yeah, in the ugliness, in the messiness is the beauty of the human experience, and you'll be reminded of exactly what you're here to do. And what you're here to do is be human. At the end of the day, you learn so much stuff, you unlearn so much, you get so many truths, you shed the illusions and all that. But that thing at the end of the day, once all that's done, which is never done, but when it's all done, you got to go be a human the, with your new knowledge and your new way of existing. That's the whole point. It's not just to know all these things just to know them. It's not just to understand the truth of what you're here to do just to understand it, but it's to all the whole purpose is to live the best life you can, the most authentic life you can, and to be able to experience everything that's available to you. So that's what's to be done after all that. So don't miss out on the best part of the whole journey by only focusing on the journey itself, um, and understanding that yeah, it's not. There's still work to be done as far as outside of the journey. So that feels like a separate thing, but it also feels like the same. And I don't entirely know where that came from, but I'll honor it. And yeah, I've been around the block enough to know that there's gonna be somebody who's like, "Oh my God, exactly!" Like, "Wow, it's crazy that you said that," because then it's just like, "Oh, okay, thank you for letting me know," because I was fighting for my life in there. Okay. Um, let's see. I choose me at the bottom, and that feels like an important reminder. Always make sure you're always choosing you. And Libra, this feels like weighing your options and understanding that yeah, you can do damn near whatever. You know, you're not limited to just who you've been, what you've been planning to be, what you decided you were gonna be last month. Like every moment is a new moment to evolve and to be different, and understand that you're not the same you were 1 second ago. So in every present moment, it's important to choose the option that feels like you. It's important to honor who you are and to continue to choose things that are in alignment to that, and allowing that to be your compass at any given moment. If you're making too many decisions based on like a predetermined path or a predetermined way of living, understand that you might find yourself out of alignment to who you actually are. If you're only doing this thing because you decided 10 years ago this is what you do, or you're only with this person because 5 years ago you guys decided that this is what you're going to do, or those type of things, when it's like you should be recommitting to everything you're doing every day. um, yeah, you should be with that person because you still feel that there's still that resonance today, not because we've been together this whole time, so like we got to keep going, but like because yes, this person's the right perfect person for me, and I still feel all these ways towards them, and it's healthy and it's all these things. So you're choosing them not based on history, but because of right now in this present moment, today, and what's actually real, that there's alignment and you guys are in resonance. You're at that job because it still fulfills you, it still makes you feel expanded, it still leads to your evolution, it still serves you at the end of the day, not just because you've been there for so long and it's like that's just your normal and you're used to it. Like, and that's just the difference. And that doesn't mean that the things you've been doing forever are probably might still be in alignment, but it's understanding that you're choosing them because they're in alignment still, not just because they've been your normal and you're used to them. And just that switch in perspective and understanding is very, very big in how things will play out, and it will empower you in dealing with these things because you recommitted to it. Why would you be stressed out at a job that you recommitted to today? Like, today you were like, yeah, this job is still in alignment to me, it still serves a purpose, it still makes me feel all these things. You go into it differently. Like, how could you go in there and now be like, oh my god, I hate it? Because it's like, just today you said it was still doing all these things. So I feel like it allows you to approach it differently, because then you realize you have a choice and that you are empowered walking in there, and that you get to leave, and at the point where it's not in alignment anymore, you can go do something different. And that's not to say it's just going to be easy, you just do whatever, but at the end of the day, you have a choice. You always have a choice. So yeah, the Libra just feels like understanding that you can weigh your options, balance your scale, and see what side comes up the way you want it to, and go that way. 1111, and this feels like in the process of weighing those options, to dream and to make wishes, to see big. Like, what do you want? Like, not just what sounds realistic, not just what sounds doable, but like, what do you want? Like, if you could have anything right now, if I told you that the very next thing you asked for would be served right up on a dish, what would you ask for? And it's like, that's what's important to you, that's what lights you up, that's what you actually want, for real, for real. So it's like, ask for that, move with that, and not even just ask, but move in your reality, knowing that you can have that, and that it's for you, and that you see it and you have that resonance to it because it's for you and it's doable for you, and that you're supposed to have it. And trust that that will lead to it, and that will lead to the downloads, the experiences, the opportunities, and everything to actualize that. And yeah, understand that experiencing it, whether it be just in your imagination, through a visualization, or the feelings, or whatever, however you can experience it now, understand that that's real, and that leads to it for sure. So then we got codependency and Aquarius, which both feels like heavy emphasis on community. And yeah, I'm hearing your community is looking for you, and that just feels like allowing yourself to be seen, to continue to show up, to continue to express yourself, to create things and put things out into the world that speak to the people who speak your language. Like putting things out there that are so hyper you, that the people who resonate with it, the people who receive it, who are like, oh my god, I like this, or I fuck with this, who show you that who engage with it, like say it's content or something, They engage with it. They're like, oh, I like this. They share and all that. It's so hyper you that the people who resonate with it, you understand that those are your people, because it's like everybody's not gonna resonate to this. Like, this thing is so, it's so me. It's like, if you can fuck with this, you clearly can fuck with me. Like, and you're my type of person. Like, make those things that feel so much like you, to where it's like, yeah, I don't know who's gonna like this, but if they do, like, yeah, those are my people. And understand that the more authentic you can be, the more authentic you can make the things you make. Yeah, understand that you're gonna attract right in the people, your tribe, your family, um, those like-minded individuals, just all that. Because it's like, yeah, when you're making things that everybody can like, understand that everybody will like them, but it's like you're not gonna find your people like that, because who you are is very specific. The things that make you you are very you. So it's like, if you're making things that are not very you, understand that, yeah, they might appeal to a large audience, but if you're someone who's trying to build community, who's looking for the supporters who really support you at a deep level, understand that you have to show up as you, as much as you can, and as vulnerably and as deeply as you can. And yeah, I know that's not easy. That's something that I'm still navigating, as far as just as a creator, like just with music and in general, or just with music and in general. It's like really allowing myself to be vulnerable, allowing myself to really come through, and for the things I make to really feel like me, um, at the deepest level they can, because then I understand those people who come in resonance with it, the people who are drawn into it from there. I understand that, yes, okay, that's a person that will resonate with me. And it's like I can go on to do all these other things, and if I'm doing them all just as authentically, injecting just as much me into all of them, that those same people will be able to benefit from everything that I do, will be able to gain from everything that I do, and everything I do will be able to give back to a hyper, will be able to reach everybody it needs to reach, because it's all super authentic. And that's just the name of the game. And it feels like that's just the call right now, just in general, and to you, is to just make sure the things you're creating are you, and that the things you're making them because it feels right to you, and it's fire to you, it's dope to you, it's really cool to you. And you're not spending too much time trying to be strategic and trying to, like, what do they want to see, what's successful already, what's trending. Because understand that if you're chasing trends, you'll always be chasing trends, and trends change so quickly. And it's like you don't want to build your whole thing on what's hot, and then it shifts and now you're not hot anymore. It's like it was never at your, yeah, you never had a choice. It was like you were only going to be successful as long as this was a trend, because that's what it was. You just jumped in on the trend. But it's like, if you were building success off of you and your own authenticity, understand that as long as you're authentic, you will be successful, because your authenticity changes as you change. Even if you're authentic forever, and people followed you forever and they kept up with you forever, it's not going to get stale, because you're not getting stale. You're always growing, you're always changing, you're always evolving. So it's like, as long as you continue to do the work, as long as you continue to experience things and learn and unlearn and decondition yourself, and have all these new experiences, your stuff will grow and will change and evolve just as you do. So it will never get stagnant, it will never get stale, because you're not stagnant and you're not stale. And it'll stay authentic, and you'll always have an audience for that, because you're somebody who, yeah, people resonate with, who people can see themselves in, and who are inspired by you, and all those things. So yeah, so understand that you are the pearl, you are the product, you know like, you are the magic that's going to make everything you do successful. So the more you can inject into the things you do, your success is is endless. Like, you'll never know. Yeah, I was gonna say you'll never know failure, but that's not true, because failure is just a part of the process, and failure looks different to everybody. But yeah, like you'll always succeed that way because you are a pro. So the more of you can inject into the things you do, they'll be just like that. So, oh yeah, okay, Oracle. That was a really, really dope message. Oh Lord, these cards are all turned around now. Okay. Go back to tarot. Good old tarot. Yeah, this week is definitely different. And I don't know, the energy inside versus the energy outside is always mad different to me. I think I prefer outside, surprisingly, because I feel like in my typical, just day-to-day life, like, I don't know, I enjoy outside, but I have no problem staying inside either, for real. The sun again. Yeah, I'm hearing have faith, but I'm also being drawn to like this crack right here. And this feels like, yeah, that's all. I'm hearing that's all it takes. Like, you might have been trying really, really hard to get to something or to get something to be successful. It's like you find yourself you keep running up against this wall. It's just like, you try, you give up, you go back, you try, and you hit the wall again. You just keep hitting the wall. And it feels like in that process, you didn't notice. Like, you just kept hitting the wall, kept hitting the wall, kept hitting the wall. And then this last time, you're about to give up, and then you look, and you're like, and you just see the hole. And it's like, that hole's a product of you running into it so many times, and you didn't even notice. But slowly but surely, each attempt weakened the wall, and made you more resilient as well in the process. 01, 11, 11, as I say that. And it's like, now you realize, like, wait, whoa, I can just, like, I don't even have to run through the wall anymore. I can just kind of just step through. And it's like, so now this next attempt is not only going to be successful, but it's probably the easiest attempt out of all the attempts you've had this whole time. And it's like, simply because of all the work that you've done up until this point, all the seeds you've sown, all the attempts you put together, all the growing you've done in the meantime, and while you're being persistent in pursuing this thing. And it's like, yeah, don't give up now. Go look at the wall again and realize, like, wait, I literally just have to step right over it and you're on the other side. And it's like, yeah, it's not you running through it this time. So it might feel like you're doing something you've been doing a bunch of times, but it's like, understand that this time it's gonna work. And yeah, that's such a dope message. And yeah, that's it. But yeah, have no fear. The sun is here, and you're definitely being guided, and you're protected in all of this. So do your thing, dog. And the King of Wands and Queen of Cups at the bottom. And this just feels like the ultimate balance. Like being like gentle with your emotions and being graceful with your emotions as you navigate this, but also trusting them enough to act and to move and to not be afraid to burn things down, to not move with hesitance or like move softly to kind of preserve other people. And because the things you're doing may impact other people's lives, or maybe people are expected, they rely on you to show up as this way because you've been showing up as that way. But it's like, in order to do this thing, you have to kind of like break that and show up as in a whole nother way, or you have to have boundaries, or any of these things that make people be like, dang, like what's going on, like, or think to where they think something's wrong, or they may not support it. But understand that through honoring the emotions and treating them as valid and finding comfort in them, and by showing up as you need to and being firm in them, that creates a perfect concoction as far as being able to navigate the energies. Because yeah, you don't have to be abrasive and like pursuing these things. You don't have to like, leave me alone, get out of here, I need to focus, But you can honestly, you can be like, okay, I need this time to do XYZ. I know typically, I'm pretty available and I'm just always here when you need me, but right now I need to go do this thing. And it's like that's a perfect combination in which you can honor both the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. It's like you can do your thing and show, that you're a priority and that you're important and the things you're working on are important, while also, being gentle and being gracious with yourself and others. Because, even, yes, you not cursing them out and you like being gentle in your delivery spares them, but more it spares you, it spares your energy. Sitting there being, arguing with somebody or telling somebody off, like at the end of the day, that takes your energy as well. So it's like you can be gentle with your delivery and still be firm in it. Um, yeah, calm communication isn't soft. It doesn't have to be yelling for it to be assertive. So then we got the Hierophant. I was gonna turn it, but it feels important to be in reverse. So 5 might be significant. I'm hearing life path number 5, and I'm hearing 5th house as well. And 5th house is Leo, if I'm not mistaken. Leo energy, which is interesting because we were just looking at the King of Wands, which had the big line on the top. So yeah, this just feels like I'm hearing your strength is being built and cultivated on top of all the things that made you feel weak. So understand that your biggest lessons in being strong, if this is for you, your biggest lessons in being strong when you look back are all going to be those times where you felt really, really weak. And through those, yes, those aren't times where you felt strong, but they show you the importance of feeling strong. And you can look back and you can see like how this moment would have been different had I understood who I was and had strength, the strength that I now know that is within me, the strength I now know is important to cultivate. And yeah, and allow those times to be what give you strength, because you might not have a bunch of proof of you looking back and be like, oh yeah, that time I was strong, and then that time I was strong, like, oh yeah, I can do it. You may not have those moments. You might just have a bunch of times where like, damn, like I was really weak in that time, or wow, I really let them do this, or I let them get away with this, or I didn't advocate for myself here. And it's like, how did that make you feel? That's important information. How did the other people react to that? You might have sat there and just kept quiet to keep the peace, and they didn't keep it peaceful. They still violated you, or they still, were still rude, or they still didn't even have grace with you when you were being super gracious with them. And it's like, so that taught you, advocate for yourself, because being quiet doesn't necessarily mean things are going to be peaceful or that you're not going to cause problems, because if people want to have a problem with you, they're going to have a problem with you regardless. So the least you can do is advocate for yourself. So yeah, that's just what this feels like. It just feels like learn from those times where you didn't have exactly what it is that you need, or that you felt like you needed in those situations, and understand like, okay, when I didn't advocate for myself, I felt really bad after. When I didn't say anything at all and I just kind of let them say whatever and I just was quiet to keep the peace, dang, when afterwards I felt really icky and violated. And it's like, okay, so now when those things happen, okay, now you understand, okay, I need to be strong here, not because I know that I've been strong hella times and it works, but because I understand what not being strong, what not showing up for myself, what that looks like, and I'm not accepting that anymore. And that's just what this call feels like as far as the Hierophant first. It's like, yeah, so you're learning, but not from what worked, but from what didn't work. And understand that information is just as valuable. And then we got the Star on the bottom again, the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom again, the Magician on the bottom again, and this time it's in reverse. And yeah, it just feels like all this is important. Like all these are like final steps, and that's another big thing I'm noticing as far as just Scorpio season right now. It just feels like the final stages. Like we're clearing out the back room before we move out. Like we done cleared out everything. It's like, oh damn, we forgot the stuff in the attic. And you go in the attic, it's like there's cobwebs, there's like boxes over there, and just like all that stuff. And it's like, fuck, like we were almost out of here, but it's like we got to do something about this before we go. And it's like that's just what right now feels like. So it's like those last things and making those last final efforts and putting the periods and crossing the T's, dotting the I's on who you are and the experiences you've been in, and closing those final chapters and letting things end and kind of really ending, so they don't just kind of go into this next chapter open ended to now they just, you know, send you a random text and now your whole world is shattered again, or they pulled you back into like 2 years ago, or this message comes in, you're like, oh damn, there was this thing that I was supposed to take care of, you know. It just feels like all that's coming up right now to be addressed. You can make the decisions that are in alignment to who you are now. um, Make it clear that, you know, you learn these things to where you can see like, oh okay, wow, I've changed, I've shifted, like, oh, this is different, you know, and all those last things that you need. So as you step into this next thing, you're like, okay, it's all done. Like, there's a bunch of closure. The chapters are all ended, and now I have nothing but space and opportunity to free fall into whatever's next for you, and really enjoying it, and having space for these things is very, very important, because that's the only way to really experience them and to be able to see them clearly. Because when you're tied to a whole bunch of stuff from the past, or a bunch of fear from the past, or any of that stuff, understand that you're not going to be able to navigate them, or you're not going to have enough energy available to show up for these things, you know. Because when you have things pulling on your energy from the past or draining you all the time, you might not have what it takes to go and meet this person, you know. Because it's like, when you have space, you know, you're sitting at the house, you're bored sometimes, you're just sitting there with nobody to talk to, and it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then, you know, in that you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go, who knows, to the coffee shop today, and just sit there for a bit and work on some stuff, you know, just because, you know, you're bored, you have space, and it's like, that's when it's like, oh, what do I feel like doing? You start to do things, and it's like, yeah, understand that if had without all these things falling apart, you may not have had energy to go there. And it's like, you went there and then you met this person, or you tried this drink and it's like, wow, this is my favorite drink now. And now you're getting into a routine. Now you go there and you work there sometimes, and now this is the most productive you've ever been. It's like, you didn't go there for that. You were just kind of tired of just being in this space, you know, having just so much space and opportunity and stuff. So you start to fill the space. And yeah, but without that space, you're not going to be jumping to different things, to new things, because we're creatures of habit. Honestly, if everything in your life was just working, you would probably just stick with it and just keep doing it. Like, I don't think, if everything in your life was just so much flow and just everything was so amazing, I don't think, in my experience, I don't think you'd sit there and be like, oh my god, like, let me seek out new things, let me go seek out new experiences, let me go seek out new people, when everybody in my life is so great. Let me go seek out a new job that makes me feel fulfilled when this job already makes me feel fulfilled, you know. So it's like, that's all, that feels like that's just what's unfolding right now. And yeah, I really just lost my train of thought again. I don't know what's going on. Damn. But no, the energy just feels very, very different, and it feels very pointed. And yeah, interesting is words don't even do it justice, or not any words I have. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep flowing with it and keep trusting. Oh, 012233, as I said that. Oh my god. And then these cards just slid off, and then I look and it's the Magician. Hey, now you see me, now you don't. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, it's like the threads of energy are just kind of moving and just disappearing just as quickly as they came, honestly. And so I don't know if that means like, yo, okay, they get it, stop talking, move on, or what. But it's definitely interesting and very different.